both days. Monday through Friday, futures training and trading with Ange every day from 2 to 4 p.m.
Bring it back. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to American Dream Trading's Futures Education. My name is Angela. I am just checking to make sure we have everything in order. Let's make sure everything is live. Hello, TikTokers. Good to see you. Just double checking. Everything is working good, working order. We are live on the YouTube. It looks like it. Can everybody hear me okay? YouTube, can you hear me? Please confirm. TikTok, can you hear me? Please confirm. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, TikTok. All right. Make sure you are hitting that like and subscribe button, please, guys. Your support is greatly appreciated. Again, my name is Angela. I am your futures education trainer in the afternoons here with American Dream Trading. Special shout out to Coach for giving me this opportunity to come in here and do this training with all of you. He's put quite the weight on me to come in here and give my 2 cents and getting some trading out to all of you. So I appreciate you all being here. Want to do another special shout out to the moderators that come in here and give their time and energy to support myself as well as the rest of the growing futures community when I'm both here and not. So I appreciate all the moderators who give up their time to do so as well. Please make sure you guys are asking all of the questions that you might have in the chat box. All questions will get answered. I appreciate all of you asking away. We'll get to you as I see them. And we'll get all of you helped out as we go along. Welcome to all of you new futures traders as well, both in the Zoom, our live Zoom, who have open mics and a chat box to ask questions, as well as all of you on social media land. Quick update on the current promotions we have out there available. If you go out and do buy a 6-month VIP, you get 6-month gold add-on for free. So please make sure you go over to americandreamtrading.com and support your trading skill sets and opportunities for yourself. And make sure you're doing more training than trading within the community. American Dream Trading and anyone associated with us is not a financial, tax, or investment advisor. Everything we discuss is for training and education purposes only, and you should not use real money while training. So please, for the love of God, do not blow up your account thinking you know what you're doing. Make sure you're doing more training than trading. Please and thank you. I appreciate all of you. So let's go ahead and dive in today. My Zoomers over in our premium membership, I know we have several of you who are brand new to the community from last week's huge sale that was ran for our success in having a new 47th president. So the sale that ended last week was great. I've been around here for a while now and haven't seen a sale that great in like ever. So thank you for taking part in that sale. So I welcome all of you new people here. So we'll take it down to basics after I see if we've got any questions. I'll help out with some basic setups, some how-to information for the order book, as well as setups for charting. It's also a holiday, etc. We'll pay attention to what the market's doing, setting up our stops. You name it, we will support it. I'm also looking at having 100 concurrent viewers on TikTok. If we reach that point, we'll do a giveaway. So one and all, please share with your friends, family, whatever, your people. and we'll do a giveaway then. So I'll be watching that as well. All of you over on YouTube, please feel free to ask your questions as well. Like, share, subscribe, all the things to help support the growing community. That being said, we will go ahead and get started. I have, let me get my chat boxes out here quick so I can see what the heck's going on. And we will go from here. Okay. Does anybody in the Zoom or anywhere else have questions before we get started? Looking for questions. Not seeing any. Give you guys a few seconds.
Hey, Ange, can you hear me?
I can. What's up?
I'm glad you're back. How was your trip?
It was great. Got a lot of business done. Thanks for asking.
Good. I am up 2% on crude oil today, so I am going to be paper trading the rest of the day, but I'm glad you're back.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Good for you. Yeah. That's awesome. Crude oil, it looks like it's been doing some good things today. And yeah, more trading than trading, right? Like that's like the rule of thumb.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep stacking up green days and then maybe start decreasing position size after a month of that.
For you. Way to have a plan. I love that. Someone over in TikTok land asked what we're doing today. So today we're going to go over some basics. We're going to do like Webull basic setup for a lot of our new people that are in here. And then we'll answer questions along the way. And then we'll take a look at some market movement that we have out here as well, both on the EWO side as well as the scalping side. And then we'll see what kind of time we have left as the day progresses. So that being said, let's see. We will start with, first of all, I'm going to welcome all of you new people. Welcome, welcome. So my setup that I currently have for Webull, mind you, you can set yours up however you want. I have mine set up for the pure sake of just being consistent. And for me, I want things to be as simple as possible. So let me adjust my screen here a second. All right. Let's move. I have a lot of stuff open. I like to be able to see everything. Okay. All right. So first things first, when you have a futures account, before you can ever open a futures account, you have to apply for one within Webull. You'll go over to the Webull website, you will log in, you will create a futures account, you will answer a few simple questions. Once Webull approves your account, you must put in a deposit of $500 minimum to fulfill your margin account requirements to be able to start trading, quote, futures. $500 is the minimum. Once you do that and set that up, in order to get real time, you must have order book for L2 data, and you must have real time data. You have to have either the L1 or so it's the L1, which gives you one line, which I'll show you what that looks like. Display, excuse me. It will look something like this. Or if you're like me, who uses the L2 to trade, I have this one, L2, which gives me 10 lines. Excuse the notification that won't go away. It will give me 10 lines that I use to trade. Okay, so I use this, therefore I have this one. There is a price difference between the two. The one line is $11.99, and you will go and set that up. The easiest way to do that is through your mobile device. It's pretty quick in and out to do so. And then the other option is the L2 with the 10. This is $39.99. Yes, it's more expensive. However, you know your mechanics within the futures. you'll be able to make that up pretty darn quick. So, your mechanics, that price really isn't that bad, but you have to have real-time data to support it, guys. So please make sure that you have that available to you. Once you have your L2 data set up, I have mine set up over here. So if you're starting with a blank slate, you'll want to have your order book L2. You'll go over here to add a widget, and you'll go over to all widgets, and you will find order book. You'll click order book, and you can place it anywhere you need to on here. Okay, that's how you will add the L2. If you move down here to the bottom, because I'm going to move from left to right, you'll want order book, futures, watch list, chart. Okay, order book is the same thing. I actually have multiple ones of these. You don't need to have this. So let me just get rid of this. I think I every time I go through this about once a week, I end up taking stuff out of here. I don't know why. I have another order book over here, but I end up having multiples throughout, but no big deal. You'll want futures. You'll want to pull up the futures watch list. So you'll go over to, and I'm on the paper side, so it could slightly be different. But you should be using paper anyways to start. So if anything, use this as your setup for your paper account. I'm looking for futures. Oop, I just saw it, I think. I moved screens too fast. You'll want a watch list. So you can go ahead and click watch list. You can drag it over here. And then for futures, for market, you'll click futures. It'll pop up in a window. You'll move it down over here as well. So then that'll set up the left side of your futures account. For a watch list, I have a few different watch lists. I have the ones that matter for this live only. I have futures, micro, e-mini, and I have regular futures. Futures pulls, this one right here. I'm going to break it out so I'm going to break out this watch list so I can make it bigger for you to see. Oh, where did it go? Let's try that again. It's copy watch list. And I'm going to make it bigger so you guys can see what we're looking at here for setup. Here is the futures. So I currently have 14 futures that are on this list that we watch on a regular basis. This is not the entire list. You can go and search out which ones you want to choose to look at. But these are the ones that I typically have on a day-to-day basis that I will go through to chart, to watch, etc. So I watch the crude oils. Why? I watch crude oil at night during aftermarket or the Globex market. I also watch the NQs and the ESs, the MES or ES at night as well. That's typically what and I also watch copper at night. Those are going to be those aftermarket hours that I'll take a peek at. So this is the watch list that holds both the gold remains and the micros and the minis. I have broken it down even further to the 7 that are for smaller accounts. Now these 7 here will fit the budget for someone who sits with an account that's between $500 and $1,000. To me, that's like a really small account. So these are the ones that I have sit in here that I work with during the intraday. And then I have my own personal self. I have this broke out even smaller yet. So the ones that I'm personally watching every single day because I'm learning the ins and outs of how these charts work, how the charts and the candles, how news affects, etc. With these few down here to do so. Which ones are they? Well, I watch the Russells because it matches up with the IWM. I watch the ES or the MES because that goes along with SPY. NQ goes along with Qs. Okay. I watch crude oil because, well, that was my very first one that I started watching, so it's just kind of stuck around. And then those are the ones that I watch on a regular basis, and then I will clip in and watch gold and copper here or there, just for the sake of watching them. So that is what my breakdown looks like for the watch list. You can break this down however you want. That is how I have it situated for myself. I'm going to close this out so I don't have 50 million watch lists. That's what this looks like over here. Okay. You'll need a basic chart. Once you have your chart put together, you'll want to throw on some indicators. If you choose to, right? If you are an indicator user, I would throw down some indicators. We use MA 200. We use MA. I use the 9 specifically because I'm a scalper. The EMA 21 and the EMA 55. I also watch, the 200. We have VWAP. And you can have the super trend on if you choose. I don't look like I have the super trend on the paper side. No big deal. So make sure you have some indicators if you choose to use indicators. I'm going to minimize those. Your chart is now set up. Now we move down to the order position, order entry, order book chart. I do have an extra chart listed on here. I have this set up so that if I'm going to be looking at, say, an NQ, or in this case, an ES, I can throw SPY up. And I can watch SPY side by side with the MES. I can watch the levels and change up the levels if I want to follow along with someone who is maybe in our chat or in our Zoom chat where they're covering a little bit more of how SPY is doing. If there's additional news on SPY, I can come over here to MES and I can do some trading based on that. So I always have an extra chart down here. A lot of times this chart for me is on a different screen. Because I train and trade, I have multiple screens up all the time with data that supports that so I can visually see what I'm looking at. If you don't have a setup like that, that's okay. Do it how you need to. But because I do this professionally, and this is what I do to live, I have quite a setup for that purpose. Order book. To add order book, you'll go to the widgets, and you will go to all widgets, and you'll add order book. You'll do the same thing for position. You'll add position. Let's see, order book. Actually, you know what? I think they're all one and the same. Let me pull it. As many times as I do this, you'd think I would remember this stuff off the top of my head. I don't. A lot of this stuff was set up when I set this account up, and I haven't done anything with it since. So make sure you have your order, and make sure you have another chart. Have yourself a clock so you can watch the time frames. Clocks are important, guys. Especially if you're in futures, know that there's that dead hour or that where it's closed, and know when that time frame is. So just know that at 5 o'clock Eastern, the market shuts down for an hour. And so even though today is a holiday for us in the US, this market's still open and running as normal. So we will have that dead hour this evening, and then it'll pick back up at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock Eastern. So I would use that hour if you're going to do this in the evening time. I would use this hour to go and clear up your charts, get some good, steady, and solid support and resistance lines. Mark out your double tops and bottoms, triple tops and bottoms, and just get those aligned so you can start watching for any movement if you are either going to paper trade or real trade, whichever, in the evening hour. Being mindful of any news that might exist, or when the other markets open for the other markets open and or close in the other countries. So make sure you're paying attention to that too. Lastly, I do have the ladder on here. I haven't done much with this, but I'm experimenting. So I do have an extra field on here for the time being. If you want to add the ladder, you can do it in the widget. You can do the same thing on the trade. Make sure you have trade and turbo for your own personal preference. Turbo Trader does not work on paper trading, so you'll need to have this trader feature, the trade feature on here. You'll add this. You will add this in the widget. You can put it anywhere you want. You don't have to use my setup, but I use this for the trading side. Hi, Swaggy Dream Boy and Mia Me over on YouTube. Thanks for coming. Great question, Alfredo. I'll get to you in just a moment. So once we have this all set up, then you're ready to go with some paper trading and getting some ideas as to what you should do when you come in here. So for those that are new and we're looking at a setup, this is great. Anyone have any more questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. If there are no questions, I will go ahead and keep going.
Hey, Angela, how does the L2 differ between MES and SPY? Would the L2 on SPY have more data that you could use, or is it just fine with MES L2?
If you're gonna trade MES, you'll want to use the MES L2. Same with SPY. Like if you were over on the stock side and you were doing SPY, you'd want to use the L2 that goes along with it. You can see if I show you here's SPY and what it looks like currently. And if I change this over to if I change this over back to MES, it looks way different. See that?
Yeah.
So you'll want to make sure that you are offered when it comes to the L2 that you are watching the L2 that supports whichever either contract or stock that you're looking at it matches. Because they won't
Doesn't
match up.
MES just follow SPY?
It does. Yep. So here's MES here in the middle. All down here in this chart here. Here's SPY. So you can see that. Do you see that?
Yep.
See, they match pretty darn close.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, if the charts are matching, why doesn't the L2 match?
That's a good question. You know, they're two different entities, right? One's futures contracts, one's stocks. So they're two different areas. So while I would use, if I were to come in here and I were to follow one or the other, I may pay attention to SPY if I'm watching for levels per se. I would use this more in the morning hour when we're in stock education with Coach, where he may be talking a little bit more about the breakdown of how SPY works or how it's operating at that time and what to look for. And then coming back over here to the MES side and being able to say, okay, well, if he's saying that it's below, if he's saying, for example, it's below the 200, which it is, I can see the same thing over here on MES that it's below the 200. If I can see here that this is below, this is riding the 55. I can see the same thing down here in SPY. It's riding the 55. Contract, the only difference is the stock for SPY these are super expensive. Mind you, MES, which they're pretty darn expensive too, based on what it looks like right now. And they must have switched. I didn't look before I got in here, but this looks like they might have switched to the nightly margin at this point, given that it's a holiday, it looks like. So it looks like we're in the evening hour potentially. Let me look over here on my live side to see what that looks like.
You're talking about the margin used?
Yeah, so it's still showing 96 for me.
Yeah.
For MES. It's still showing 96, although on my paper side it's showing me a different price. So that's
Yeah,
one
I've
of
never
the
seen the paper
downsides.
side show the correct, like, live price. Seems like it always shows the after hours one on paper.
Yeah, and I haven't paid much attention to it either. But it also it does depend on the broker too. Weeble's fees are a little bit higher. I'm not going to deny that. They are definitely higher than some of the other brokers that are out there. But just know that use whatever broker you're most comfortable with. This just so happens to be the one that we follow here for the time being. I need to pause for a brief moment, everybody. I have somebody at the door, so give me 2 minutes. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Oh, let's see. What do we got over here for some questions? Let's see. Why Jason asks, why spend that much on one share when you have other companies and have more shares? So we're not doing shares. These are contracts. These are contracts for futures. And this is a little deceiving because this is the paper side. If I move this over to the futures, where we can see this a little bit clearer, get this darn thing out of my way. Contracts over here are cheaper when you look at the live side. NQ. So here, so now we're showing what the intraday margin is for this. So if you look at the difference between the Qs and the NQ, the contracts are significantly different. So future side, you use the margin, obviously. So make sure you guys are paying attention to what those look like. It looks different on the paper than the live side. So just make sure that you are using the paper side more for mechanics than anything, right? So utilize that for the pure purpose of mechanics. And then when you come over here, you can still paper trade. I would encourage you to even do it on paper if you choose to. I find myself, I don't do it as much as I used to, but you can also look at it that way and do some paper trading via paper too as well, if that helps you guys. But contracts are much less during intraday than what they are in the evening for those that have been paying attention. If you come in here both during the day and at night. If you have a smaller account, just with 14 that I follow, mind you, there are others, so please do your own research to find ones that you yourself have interest in. These are just ones that I follow and I have a general interest in, and how we do some general training to follow along as we go. Find what works best for you. And I have a wide range. I have a wide range of contracts or futures that I follow specifically because it will help those who have smaller accounts and those who have larger accounts to support those margin increases in the evening time. So I have a little bit of both for everybody. You can definitely follow whichever ones you want. Great question. What else we got out there? Anybody? All right, we'll just keep going. So now that we've gone through those bare basics of the setup of our Webull account, let's look at some charting and how we do some identifying of some charting that we might be looking at if we're going to potentially get in here and do some trading. So let's look at something a little less volatile. So the Qs, so NQ, the ES are going to be one of the more volatile ones than what we see in the other ones. So I typically like to look at crude oil for the sake of training purposes. So let's go ahead and move over to one of those. So I'm going to move over to my watch list. Look at MCL. It is not changing. Hang on. Let's make sure this is the same bid. It's not changing. Oh, yep, that's fine. Make sure your groupings are all set to the right numbers as well, guys. Otherwise, your stuff won't move together like mine just did. There we go. So I like to look at crude oil, so MCL during intraday quite often. What is the current intraday price for this one? It's 171.60 a contract. So if you're going to come in here and buy a contract, it's going to be 171.60 per contract, right? So that's what that will look like. If you're going to buy this in the evening time during the Glovax hours or after hours, if you're familiar with both terminologies, they're going to be 572 a contract. So know the difference. It's important to know the difference. Okay? So You can look at what today's low has been, what it opened at this morning, or opened up at its open hour, which would have been last night. And then you can also see what the maintenance margin is, what the high and current volume is. You can click on this more feature. It'll break down this a little bit further for you. It'll tell you what the trading hours are, as well as when the contract price, what the contract price is, when the contract expires, etc. So you can come in here and look at these. You can break down this even further, which will take you to the spec link, which is the CME Group website. This will tell you a bit more information and give you history, basically anything you'd ever want to know about crude oil. And if you're a number fanatic or a graph fanatic, you can go over there and that will break down things even further for you and give you a better understanding about crude oil and what affects it. So if I want to go over here and chart, I like to do charting slightly different than most. I can tell just by looking at this that I've done some charting already, that I like to break it down by the month, week, day. I'll do sometimes a 1 hour, 5 minute, and or I'll look at the 15. And then I look then at the 1 minute if I'm going to trade it. Now, I do dabble with the 2 minute EWO. It's something that I haven't always been the most familiar with, but I've been practicing it for the sake of the group. But I'm still a scalper. So I could tell you just by looking at this today that this is going obviously to the downside. It has been all day. It looks like it's channeling out right now in this general area here between this 68.36 and this 67.99. Okay. I'm currently on the 5 minute. If I break this down even further to the 1 minute, which is typically where I would sit if I was scalping, it looks a little bit different, right? But it's just another thing to pay attention to depending on which time frame you like. I have been very vocal that I am teaching myself to sit in the 5 minutes versus that 1 to 2 minute range. I'm finding I'm able to stay in these longer and I'm able to watch some significant changes and get in here and stay in these trades a little bit longer, whether I'm going to the upside or if I'm shorting it down. I'm finding that I can make this 5 minute work for me a little bit more in my favor. I just have to be careful with these down wicks that happen when it pulls back, and sometimes it snags me up. So I'm learning as I go as well what's working and not working. Thank you everyone who's joining again. Just taking a quick peek around to see what we've got for questions or concerns, any that I'm seeing. Want to remind everybody that we currently have a sale going on. If you buy 6-month VIP, you get 6-month gold add-on for free. Mind you, at the end of that, when that goes into effect after that 6 month, it goes back to what the regular price is. So be mindful of that when you set it up. So again, I like to chart everything. I'll go ahead and clear this out and we can throw some lines on here for some paper trading opportunities that may exist. Again, I don't trade live. I don't trade live. Why? Because it's really hard to train and trade at the same time. And I am not willing to blow up my account for the sake of training everybody. So let me clear out my lines and we'll take a look and see what we got here. Yeah, Roy, that's a really great question. What I could tell you that I'm able to have create a living based off of this. And mind you, I do a lot more training than I actually trade. And what I can tell you is that when I started up my Webull account for futures, I started at the 500, at that 500 minimum. And like I said, I've been able to successfully grow that account week over week or day over day to be able to have a good living, a comfortable living as I've continued to grow my training and stuff like that. So if you trust your mechanics, if you do shares now, if you trust your mechanics, I think you'd be fine to move over to futures and practice until you're able to do the same thing over on the future side before you hop in. But it's really going to be on a personal basis of what works better for you. So it is realistic. I can tell you that they wouldn't trust me to come over here on the future side if I couldn't do it. So just make sure you are doing more trading or training than trading. Okay. Checking for any more questions along the way. I don't see any. All right. So we're going to do some charting. Let's get some charting done. I am going to be looking for a few things. I'm looking for some heavy support, heavy resistance. So I'm going to go out to the 5 minute and just see what's out here for crude oil. What do I have to look at? And see what's here. I'm going to go out to the 30 minute and see what we've got. If there's anything that's coming out here. Anything that's standing out. I'm being asked to look at ES. One moment. We'll go look here at the 1 hour for the day where we're sitting day over day. This is good information, especially when you're charting in the evening time to prepare for the new day, week, and then month. We can go out a little bit further. We're being asked to look at ES, so let's go take a look at ES. The ES and the L2. So we're out a month. I obviously I don't care about this so much right now. Being as it looks like we're to the upside, especially for today. Break this down a little bit further. Looks like we're seeing a little bit pullback for the week. Same with the day. Same with the day. We've been on a steady incline. Has this been all since the 5th? And you can come in here and do some charting in here if you wanted to. Throw up some support lines to support what it looks like for the hour. You could even break it down to the 30 if you wanted to. I like to look at the 5 minute just to kind of get a pretty good idea of like what's out here. I haven't cleared this out since last week. You can get a general idea of what's going on here as well. If you want to come in here and scalp this, looks like we got ourselves a nice little channel here. It's right in the 9. This is the 9 EMA. Right in the 9, pretty good here. I got a resistance line here at 60, 28, 29. And this is an old one. So it likes this general area right here. L2 is running pretty slow. It's a little bit heavy on the ask side. So we got some general movement here. So this tells me just by looking at this, if I were to cover up the chart, this tells me that we're probably sitting in a channel. And this L2 here will support what that looks like. So it looks pretty even across the board on both sides now. We could see a steady increase or a decrease. What time is it? We're into getting into the later part of the afternoon here. Now, if you were going to get in here, and I'm not going to do it because obviously I'm on the live side. If you wanted to get in here and short this, right, because of how it's channeling, I'd be looking over here at the L2. I have this resistance line here at 60, 28, 29. You come over here to the 60, 28, 29 area. We're sitting right around here. What is that? 60? Yeah, 28. Sorry. We're sitting right around this general area, 60, 28, 29. In this general area here. If you wanted to wait in the clouds, potentially get picked up, I would wait somewhere in the 60, 28, 50-ish range, where I'd put a limit order up here at the top, and I would have waited to see if a wick would come and pick me up, just short, and then we'd short that clear to support or this general, what would be that? The 9. This would be a pretty tight scalp. I would personally wait this out and see what it's going to do. We've tested this area now here a few times, and we haven't seen much action to one side or the other. So this does not shock me that we're seeing this go to the downside. But now we just would sit here and wait and see what's happening. Again, I'm on the 5 minute. DJ Vinny, we are looking at MES main. MES main. And so we'll just sit here and watch this for a second. US markets should have wind down by now, so we will see this slow down, or we should see some sort of slowdown now that markets are closed. If you pay attention to the different markets throughout the world as they open and close, as well as the news comes out, you will find that this will affect each one of these. It'll affect MS, it'll affect the NQs, it will affect everything. So if you're new to futures, good time to train more than trade. Watch how everything affects open and close. It'll be super helpful for you as you continue to move along. I'm still in the 5 minute here. We're still above the 9. We've tested this 9 twice. I'm curious to see now, like if I was in this, which I'm obviously not, but had I been, I'd be paying really close attention to what's going to happen here. Just followed this 9 up to this point. Is it going to break this level here at that 60, 28, 29, or are we going to see it go to the downside? All right, still watching that it's bouncing off the 9 here, guys. Alfredo, I don't do one-on-ones, no. Thanks for asking, though. Checking to see if there are any more questions along the way, guys. Please feel free to ask them. Those of you in Zoom, if you have questions, please either raise your hand or you can go ahead and ask it. No worries, guys.
Ange, I think David may need your help with some one-on-ones after that sale.
Oh my gosh. Oh, David. You can't be beating David, honestly. David is a guru in himself. He is so good. So if any of you have never had a one-on-one with David, you are in for a treat. If you're new, or if you've even sat in on his trainings on the weekend, that's part of our goals, our VIP that we have. It is a great training. He covers a lot of great information. He is also our Apple host. We have an Apple chat within our community, and he does a magnificent job with that. So if any of you are out there and you are Apple enthusiasts and you trade Apple regularly, I would highly, highly encourage you to join American Dream Tradings and make sure you have that gold access that you can be a part of that Apple live chat he has. It is superb. So it's a great chat. Yes, he does also all of our one-on-ones. So he's a busy man, and now he's going to be even busier yet. So he is doing great. How do you find the resistant level for ES? So, great question. I have probably charted this out before, and I may have done it today. It might have been the other day. You will find that you don't need to, in some cases, you don't need to chart these over and over again. So let me look to see what you were. 60, 28, 50. 60, 28, 50. Okay. So a lot of times when I'm breaking these down, I think I've shared this before. I go out and look at this at the month, and I haven't, doesn't look like I haven't done this with MES. So I would put lines here for the month, and I would do this top of this wick and the bottom for the month of, I would do this for the previous month. So I would make some notes here for the previous month. I would break it down even further, and I would do the same thing for previous week. So I would put a line here at the top of this wick and the bottom of this wick for the week. day, same thing. I do the previous day. You could break it down even further for the hour. But to answer your question with that one specifically, I gotta look back to see what your 60, 28, 50. You gotta bear with me here because I do a lot of these. So 60, 28, 60. Oops, I went too far back. All right, you know what? Let's just do it this way. $60, 28, 50. I'm going to change the color and then I'll show you where we found that. And let's change that to gold and give it some lines, make it a little bit thicker so everybody can see it. So for 60, 28, 50, let's go out to the day and look at what we have for the day. So it wasn't the day, so it's not going to be the week or month. We'll go out the hour. I got to break this down a little bit further so that I can see where it was I pulled it from. It wasn't the hour, 30-minute. It might have been the 30, so we'll break it down to 5. And here you have it. So I noted this on the 5-minute chart. Okay. I look back even further here. Let's see what we got. I'm guessing it was the 5-minute. I don't know that it would have been the 1. Let's go look just in case. Yeah, it looks like I may have done this on the 1. And we might have even done this before during training. But you see where there's they're not exactly touching, obviously, but they're pretty darn close. So we have some touch in here where we've had multiple touches. See, and I just moved it, which is annoying. I hate when I do that. And I'd be looking for other points where we've touched. Here's another one where we touched it, and this would have been a support level at one point, which then turned to resistance. So it's gonna matter with how they do the touches. Is it a double bottom, or sorry, a double top where we would put a line, or was it support and now it's a resistance line? That's where I would have put another line on there. It really just depends on when I'm looking at it, what the time frame is, because I don't sit in ES all day long and just to scalp it or do any kind of 2-minute EWO. A lot of times it's sporadic and it may have been a previous level that I had on here, but it's really just hard telling. It looks like it would have probably been for me somewhere between the 1 to 5-minute range. And I just saw that there was some consistencies here where it's done some touching. And I would look at right now if I were to come in here to maybe potentially be watching this for an opportunity to short this. It continues. There are some levels that I'd like to see it break through. Like I want to see this break through this 2027 or 60.27.99. I'd like to see it break through this. I'd like to see it get above the what is this? The 200. It's either got to break this. If it doesn't break this and it bounces, I'm going to look to short it. But if it breaks and holds above the 200, there may be an opportunity to scalp it to the upside. It really all depends. I'm on fever trading. It's selling to short and buying to long. Yes, Vinny, it is. You see this point here, like I have a line that was drawn in. It looks like we tested it just a smidge. It's not perfect, right? Like it's not ever going to be real perfect, but it looks like we've tested a little bit and now it's trying to decide whether it's going to go down or up. So now we just kind of wait and see what it decides to do. It's hard to do this while you're training. if it was me, I would be waiting. I still, even though I've done shares and I do the future side. A lot of times while I like to short, I like to get those good clips of shorts when I can. I still like to wait down at support and ride it to resistance and get out and wait for that setup again. And again, that comes from that mindset of doing shares for cash count. So you have to be able to decipher between the two and be able to switch gears that you can do both. Welcome everyone over here on TikTok. I see lots of new faces. Also, welcome everybody over in YouTube or on YouTube. Please make sure you are hitting that like button and sharing. Same with you over in TikTok land. I know we have Twitch and Twitch and Facebook and LinkedIn, maybe. I can't remember all of them that are listed on here, but make sure you guys are liking and sharing. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of you. Again, welcome everybody who's new and old. Appreciate you all being here. Want to run by you guys the sale we currently have going on. If you buy 6-month VIP, you get 6-month gold add-on for free, and then after that, 6 months is over, it goes back to the regular price that we have on the American Dream Trading website. So please, take advantage of those sales that we have. You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. So still watching MES here on the screen. Looks like we are bouncing off of the 55. I'm on the 1 minute. If you want to see a broader picture where I like to sit these days, I like to sit in this 5-minute range, like I said. Again, supporting this 9 with these crazy ass wicks. You gotta be careful. So any of you that follow and have been doing futures for a while, that's great. I would love to know what your particular stop looks like how many ticks that is. So if you are a seasoned futures trader out there in the social media world, let me know. I'm curious. What is your stop size? Please tell me you're using stops. Tell me. I'm curious. I would love to know. And then if you can tell me why, that would be even better. Don't all answer at once. I will continue to watch this bounce off the 9 and 21. You don't use a stop loss, Faith. Okay? It's a bad habit. What's a bad habit? Not using a stop or using one? Not using one. Yeah, that is a bad habit. Have you had some mishaps where you've had significant loss? Every time you use one, you get stomped out. Yes. Are you a scalper, Faith? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I truly do. I just know that we encourage everyone to use stops. For example, what we don't want to have happen, right, is we don't want new people who have transitioned from paper trading to live trading get stomped out or watch a trade go clear to the toilet and lose their house, right? We don't want that. So we encourage people to use stops, but I understand where you're coming from too. You got to be able to support those pullbacks with those wicks. But yes, we are about 4 minutes till power hour. So we should see an increase in volume. We currently are watching MES. We can switch gears. We could look at the mini Russells, and we can just watch to see how that power hour will affect MES while we sit here and wait. Anybody over on YouTube have any questions? Please go ahead and put those in the chat. I know Greg mentioned here in our live Zoom, he's a Centix, but we'll move it if necessary, just below or above resistance and support lines. Good for you, Greg. Good work. Waiting ever so patiently for power hour to kick off. Again, I'm sitting on the 5 minute. Waiting ever so patiently, right? So we can pop over to the one if you guys want to see some more action and what this is doing. Again, I have multiple charts typically up on all my screens to support everything that I might be looking at any given time. Although I don't have them all up for training, I will toggle back and forth. Hi, Bam Bam. I see you. Thanks for joining us. Still sitting good in this channel. And we are about 1.5 minutes to power hour. Oh, that's good. Yeah, YouTube, or not YouTube, TikTok, the screen is smaller. Yes, I'm aware. YouTube, the setup is pretty good. I actually have YouTube set up on another screen so I can watch the chat. But yes, the screen, while it is delayed, Vinny, be careful. It is clearer for sure. All right, we are, when are we? Where's my clock? We're about 1 minute away from power hour. We'll go ahead and stay here on the 1 minute interval for ES or MES. That's okay, DJ. You are my favorite old guy. Ah. Good to see you, Vinny. Thank you for your support. All right, we are less than 30 seconds away. Patiently waiting power hour to see what it's going to do on this holiday, see what kind of pickup we have. Now watch the L2, guys, and watch the candle movement. See, now we've got some volume pickup here. While we are still, Ron, the Don, we are watching MES main on Webull. MES main. We're just watching it come through power hour here, or kick off of power hour to see what this is going to do. We've been sitting in a channel here for a good part of the last little bit. I'm watching this on the 1 minute currently. Nice job, DJ. Nice job. If you guys are new here, I do use the L2 pretty significantly to do the trading that I do. So if I'm going to come in here and look at this, I'm obviously not going to trade live because I'm not going to blow up my account for the sake of training. I would go and I'm going to throw on a couple lines here just to support what we see. I'm going to put some support down here at what is this? 60, 24, 46. On the 1 minute, let me break this out to 5, and you can see that we've been sitting in this channel for a good little bit here. 60, 24, 46. 60, 24, 46. You can see that we're sitting right here in the middle. You can tell by looking at the L2 that this is channeling. And when you watch this long enough, you will be able to point that out for yourself. But then you'll see these blips where we'll see some shifting, where you'll start to see some wicks that have come down and touch some areas of support or areas of resistance during that time frame. Again, I'm in the 5 minute. I like the look of the 5 minute. Yes, Vinny, the changes are significant. So if you come over here to the future side, Vinny, make sure you use a stop. And especially like go paper trade it, obviously, for a long time, and just see how these wicks will stomp your ass clear to the moon if you're not careful. 15 to 20 ticks is where stop losses where I found stop losses to typically be, but seem to work okay. Yes, and NQ in some cases 25 ticks seem to be working a little bit better, but you need to be able to support that risk to do so. Nice job, Vinny. We're still sitting in this channel. We're clipping that 60, 24, 50 line that we've had sitting here for a minute. If it's going to continue to channel here, we'll see it pop out to the upside. You could have had a limit order down there at 60, what is that, 60, 24? Yeah, 60, 24 and been picked up. If that's what you were looking to do. But I'd be super careful with your choices. Still watching closely. TikTok is reminding me that I need to make sure that I am checking in. So let me do that. I clearly cannot chew gum and walk at the same time. Still on the 5 minute. You want to see the difference between the 5 minute and the 1 minute? Slightly different, right? If you want to slow it down a little for yourself, the 5 minute is a good option. If you like that quick movement one, if you're really feeling ballsy, go over to the 30-second. Don't trade off of it unless you know what the hell you're doing. Ron, we are looking at MES main. MES main. MES main is still channeling in this spot. So take a look at the 1 minute to get a better idea of what's coming and what's happening. You can even break this down a little bit further if you wanted to. Looks like we have some resistance here at 60, 26, 54. It's a little one. I wouldn't put much weight into it, but if you were in here scalping, I'd be looking at this pretty darn close. Right where my cursor is that 60, 28, 54. Look, it's clipped it now. It's clipped here a few times. If you look back, what is that? 4 or 5 minutes ago, 10, 11, 12 minutes ago. Like this has had multiple touches here in this general area. We'll throw a line on here just to keep an eye on it. Yeah, Alfredo, there is absolutely no real volume coming in here. It's pretty stagnant. It's channeling. Now we saw it pop through that 60, what is that, 60, 20, at 60, 26, 52. We're a little bit heavier on the ask side, so we'll probably, if we don't see much of a change here, we're going to continue to see this pop up. Heavy resistance at 60.2875, 60.28, 60.2775. Yeah, it's you doing paper, Vinny? Still watching this closely. I'm watching all the chats too, guys, so just bear with me while I do so. I want to make sure everybody's questions get answered. Now we're bouncing off the 200, and if we look back here in the last little bit, even though I have a gold line here, we've seen this where we've bounced off for the 200, and it's been pretty darn consistent. So here's a good watching point where there might be some action where this is going to could possibly be a good shorting opportunity. We could watch the L2 to really help us decide whether that's a true case or not. Watching this closely. We're in the 1 minute. Bouncing off that 200. Still have ourselves a nice little channel right here. You can see it in the 1 minute. You can see it still a little bit clearer in the 5. We're still in that same channel we were in when we started back here. When we started looking at this, we're still sitting pretty in this channel. Coming up to this 2068.50 again. Oop, I love it when I accidentally move a line. Watching closely. Nice job, Vinny. I'd like to see it break above this 2068.50. It doesn't look like it's going to. We still have a little bit of time here. 45 seconds or so. See what it's going to do. It's breaking above that. We need to see it break and hold. It's been really hard right here. 60.28.50. All right, looks like we're going to see a potential pullback. Didn't like that area, and it hasn't today. Go back, break it out a little bit further. Watch it closely. Check out those wicks. Anybody was in this going to the upside, right? You would have got your ass stomped out with those wicks. Guarantee it. Definitely. Should see a sharp pullback here. Again, we've seen this all day, right? We've seen this all afternoon. Same general area. If the L2 can't support it and the candle movements can't support it, we will see a drop here. Yeah, I could chart this in my sleep. I love charting. That's a bummer, Ralph. No worries. Thanks for letting me know. Thank you for helping, Mark. Appreciate you. Look at that. Like I was telling the group in Zoom this morning for our training, it is, I typically like to, I'm finding that I like to trade in the 5 minutes. Even though I am a scalper, I still like the look of the 5 minutes. It's teaching me patience. And I also like to trade if I know that it's clearly going to the upside or going long and then going short. I do not like to dink around anywhere else in the middle or in some of these tight channels, get my face ripped off. Break this out to the 5 minute and see what this looks like. See what we've got going on here. It's for a broader picture. Still liking this channel we've been in. We've been in this channel now since, so it was 12:55. So we've had quite the what is that? Yeah, 12:55. Quite the channel that we've been in today. Yeah, if you guys notice, I like to line the hell out of this when I trade. Always. No hesitations here. I'll throw a line anywhere where I see that there's even like a mini support and resistance. Doesn't matter. I'm lining it because there's a good chance, whether it's today, tomorrow, or next week, if I don't clear my lines, there's a potential it's going to hit it. Just looking around briefly for questions. We'll check in our futures lounge to see if anybody's put anything in there. Does look like it. No problem. Again, welcome everyone from TikTok and YouTubes and all the places. Yes, Mondays have been indecisive. I'm also finding that I've been watching closely. I'm not real sure that I enjoy doing futures on Tuesdays. We'll see if it still is the same way tomorrow. I've noticed. Sale that we currently have going on, everyone who's new here, buy 6-month VIP, get 6-month gold add on for free. And so come on over to American Dream Trading and get your membership to join our growing group of individuals. So it's a great group to learn, ask questions, learn how to trade, sharpen up your trading skills if you already have them. It's a great group to do so. Still watching this channel. I'm still sitting in the 5 minute. Damn notice thing won't stay away, even after I try to get rid of it. Still sitting in this channel. Go over to 1 minute and see what we're working with. Marisol, yes, TradingView does have it does, I believe. Oh, I guess real time. It does have real time, not an L2. So real time on TradingView is $7 a month. I have that too because I'm trying to teach myself to trade over on TradingView site versus Webull. Even though I come back to Webull because that's what I'm comfortable with. But real time data, yes. L2, no. It's a bummer. Yes, TradingView's paper trading is awesome. I also like the different options we have for charting on TradingView that I need to spend more time on. But all in all, TradingView, I still love way more than I do Webull, even though I don't use it as much. Definitely making a shift for sure. Still watching MES. It's still channeling just the same. Not much has changed. We've seen a pop in volume during power hour. Yep, so ES is going to look just the same. I'll switch. We don't have lines on this one because ES, the contracts are going to be more expensive. So the margin for ES currently is 963.60 for the ES main. If you go over to ES or MES main, it's $96.36 a contract. So just for those of you who are new to the future side, just know the difference. The margins are more expensive on the micros. So just be careful, or not the micros, the minis, be careful. Mini $963.60 versus the 96. So it's the difference. I would assume he's doing some stuff with props. I am not personally. I'm personally choosing to stay over on this side of prop firms. But that's a good question. Great question. Still sit in this channel. Look at that. Pop back over to the 1 minute. Yeah, he does have some general information on prop firms in the futures lounge. If you're part of futures, he does talk about it a little bit. Browsing for questions. Yeah, go over and check in the futures. If you're if you're part of futures, go over to the futures lounge. And let's see. It is. Let's see. Oh, let's see where and what was discussed about it last. In the futures, mind you, while I'm looking for this, keep an eye on ES or MES. We are currently on the 1 minute on there while I look. Still watching. It's still channeling. Oh, where did he put that? Still looking. I know it's here somewhere. I'm just not sure how far back we went with it. But it was mentioned like end of October, I believe. I just can't remember which one he mentioned. But yes, I know it's in the Futures Lounge. Check out the Futures Lounge. Andrew, I don't do anything outside of futures, so it would be irresponsible of me to give you any sort of opinion on any other stock out there. I promise you that. Hi, Equity OTM. So I'm sitting here in this channel. So if I was going to come in here to scalp this, I would either be scalping it off this 60-28-50 if the L2 shows me that I should, because I use the L2, or I'd be waiting for it to come down to resistance and sit down here to get picked up this way as well. So I'm watching one or the other. For me, I am more of a, while I can short pretty consistently and pretty well, I'm still more of someone who's going to sit down at support and wait to get picked up and ride it to resistance, get out and do it again versus go back and forth in the channel. Ray, nice to see you. If you're in the futures, if you got the futures membership, make sure you're joining the futures daily training that is just before the live. Get in there and get your questions answered, or feel free to ask them here. There's also training videos in the futures videos on demand on the Discord. So make sure you're utilizing all of your resources. Oh, awesome, Ray. Yeah, no, I get it. Now watch those videos, and then you can still ask questions in the lounge. So if you have questions when you're looking and stuff in the evening, one of us is typically in there. So, and if I know that someone's asking a ton of questions and I'm not busy doing mom things, I will go in and answer those. So feel free to ask away in there and give you general direction and such too, okay? Make sure you're asking questions. Bam Bam is mentioning that MNQ has some movement. Let's go take a look. Yes, it does. Looks like we got some movement over here at MNQ. MNQ looks to be going, let's see. Lots of movement here. I've got a couple lines that are on here from, I don't know when, earlier today, maybe. It could be previous. I don't know. I don't know which day. My days run together, so it's hard telling. $21, bouncing off the 21. I also have a line here at 21,188.50. Seeing a good pop. Could have waited down here in the weeds or at support at that 21,190 range. I see about a, we could have definitely seen if we got a wick that would pick us up, if that's the direction that we're planning on going with this for ourselves. All depends on what kind of trader you are. Again, I'm on the 1 minute. Let's see what the 5 minute looks like, just to like get a general idea. I think we had a good channel here as well, above the channel, but looks like we like this area right here at that 21,188.50. Be curious to see what it decides to do. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Still likes this area that we have. It's been a good support line that was created earlier, which was in resistance at some point today. We always like them all to hold their trends, right? Let me go look at this at the 30 minute, just out of curiosity. Always looking ahead at what is potentially on the horizon. Always throw a small line here, but I'm going to leave that be for right now. Go back to 5. Still slightly above. It's flipping just below that 21,188.50 on the 5 minute. Back down to the 1 minute. You notice, like, we have several spots where this break, it doesn't want to break it, clips it, but then it needs to decide, and if it doesn't decide, it's obviously going to go one way or the other. And it looks like we're going to go clear to the downside. Let's see what it decides to do here in that next minute. So it's not the minute, the next like 30 seconds, 15 seconds. It's creeping back up here to that 21,188.50. See if it can break, and if it can break and hold this general area right here. So it's bouncing up to the upside here, 21,88.50. I'm going to go ahead and put a line here at the top of these wicks. It's, what is that, 21,199.58. Watch a little closer. I'm going to look at the 5 minute a second and see what we're dealing with here. 21,199. Okay, this is a good area. We'll keep that where it's at. Come back down to the 1 minute. See what it decides to do. We got 15 seconds left on this. Yeah, Dimitri, we do have a free Discord. Go to AmericanDreamTraining.com. You'll see a section where you can click on to join the free Discord. I can't wait till this holiday's done and this damn notice goes away because I can't seem to get rid of it any other way. We are continuing to test the 21,188 right here. And you know what happens when we continue to have that happen? There's a good chance it's going to break it. watching social media today, watching for questions, so feel free to ask them. Same with you in Zoom. For premium Zoom members, please feel free to ask questions, as well as those of you on YouTube. Thank you all for joining. Again, my name is Angela. I am the Futures Education Leader here in the afternoon for American Dream Trading. You can join us in the mornings live with Coach. He is on here at 9 a.m. Eastern. He will sit with you through the open market in the morning for 2 hours or so, walk you through the various stock movements and options in the morning hours. Then you get yours truly in the afternoon for futures. We are bouncing off of the 55 here on NQ or MNQ. Bam Bam points out that MES is breaking. Let's look. It sure is. I normally, if it's just me, I'd throw a line here at this bottom, even though we've got a line here that's not too far off from it. But I would do that just for my own, just because I like to throw lines on here and watch it. But yes, MES is breaking, has broken at this point. See if it can stay that way. Benjamin, futures is separate. Thanks for asking. You can go over and check out the American Dream Trading page, and it'll show you that futures is a separate piece. There's a good opportunity to potentially scalp this if it can stay above at 60.24.46. You could erode this at support. Seeing a good pop here. This would have been a good scalp. Just a quick scalp would have been good if that's what you were after. You can keep going. We are just above the 9 here. Like to see it stay above the 9. We continue to see a pop. I'd be looking for an area to watch here at that 60.27. See if you can break through this area right here, 60.27-ish. Wanted to see it stay above that 60.27. We are above the 9. We are above the, what is that, the 21. We are above the 55. Still wanting it to stay above here. Here we go. Needs to stay above still. Now I'm watching for it at this level that I've created, which I don't know if this has moved or shifted or not. I would still, okay, so I'd like to see this go above 60.27.74. I want to see it break this. I wanted to see this stay above all of my indicators. We're coming up here. Okay, 60.27. I want to see it break this. I want to see it break the 60.27.99. We're above all the indicators. Not quite sure what it's going to decide to do, but it's not liking it. There's a steady pause there for a second. It's not liking it. Come on. Flip that 27, that 60.27 again, please, and thank you. Still have this gold line here, that's 60.2850. We've been up here before. This is not uncharted territory for us. You bet, Benjamin. Anytime. Feel free to ask questions. $60.27.99. I would love to see this get up here again and break and hold. Liking this area right here. Come on. I'm gonna go out to the 5-minute a second and look at it again. Again, I like to teeter totter between the 5-minute. I like to see what it's doing. And it's ripping this channel right here. Look at that. 60.27.99. I'd still like to see this break this. Let's go. So having some hesitation. Come on. We're getting a little top heavy. Watching the L2 for that. So Norby, I'm a scalper and I use the 9 and I use the L2 to really make my decision points before I get in. I also chart support and resistance lines. And then I also do a little light charting in between different critical areas that I need to pay attention to. So I use all that information to help decide whether or not I get into a good scalp. So Norby, I typically like to scalp. A lot of times for me, I find a good opportunity to get in pretty heavy and get out pretty quickly. Heavy in, out quickly. And I use and watch all the indicators that I have currently on the screen. You bet. Anytime. Thanks for asking. Still watching all the indicators. We're starting to see some crossing happening here. So these indicators. Still watching the L2. I'm watching the candle patterns. I'm watching support and resistance. I still have this gold line up here that we've moved away from a little bit, but I still have this up here just to see if we come back up to test it. We're testing this 60.27.99 again. We're flipping the 60.28.50. We're back up here again. So if we can break and hold this area, that'd be awesome. We're breaking it. Now can we hold it? Sitting on the 1-minute. Watching that L2. Zooming out a little bit to see what we're working with here. Coming up here to this, well, let's bring a double top here. Coming up, that's 60.30.25. We're also starting to wind down. Well, I guess the U.S. market, I believe, is closed right now. I was going to say we're winding down on the end of the day. But I am going to throw a line here at the top of this wick. I got one up here. I'm going to throw one here as well, just to watch it. Again, I like to line the hell out of these things. It helps me with my trading. Dimitri. I don't know how to say your name properly. Sorry. I do not trade options. I only trade futures. You're correct. I have traded options before, and I'm typically a shares gal, and I typically was only doing hot stock picks. I wasn't doing the Teslas, Spies, Apples of the world. Still like the view of the 5 minute better. I don't know about anybody else. I like the look of this way better. It's cleaner. So yeah, I have done some scalping in NQ, and I have done both puts. I have done the longs and the shorts. Okay, I have. I always chart first before I even decide to get in. I don't just jump into something just to jump into it. It's a surefire way to get your ass handed to you, and I'm not really one to do that. Watching this closely, we're still sitting in this channel. It's pretty. If you're a channeler, if you are a channel trader, this is a great. I don't class myself as being a good channel trader. I typically like to see a good trend to the upside or the downside before I get in. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's a long day sitting in here. Someone has pointed out gold. So let's go take a look at gold to see what it's doing. Anyone who comes in here and is looking at in the evening time, I do like gold during the evening hours. Gold and crude oil. Those seem to be one of my two favorites that I like to follow. Adding the 2-minute EWO to my chart just to have it up here. 2-minute EWO seems to work well, I'm hearing, for the gold. Something that I need to pay attention to. It's a Monday night, so I think I might do that this evening. I might hop in here and watch. Excuse me. But yes, gold is definitely on the rise. It's following the L2 pretty closely as well. We have a wall at 2631. We have a wall at 2631.50 and another wall at 2632. 50-cent difference there. See if I have any lines on here. I don't. Let's throw some lines on here and see what we come up with. I'm sitting on the 5-minute, right? If we look at the 1 minute, we are seeing seeing good movement to the upside. Looking at the 5 minute, you go out to the 30 to kind of get a bigger picture of what's going on. A good rounding bottom right here. I like this. Go up to the 1 hour. You don't typically need to go out this far, but I'm going to go out to the day and see what we got, what we're working with. We got ourselves looks like some support here. Let's see if it can hold. Double bottom action going on right here. So unlock that sucker. Move my lane down to support that a little bit more. That's out the 1 day here. So let's go back. So we see now that we got a double bottom here, or yeah, a double bottom here. Let's go back to the 1 minute and watch. See what it decides. Go. What the hell? No. Oh, we were out the week and month. Go back to the 1 minute. Still to the upside. Still to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, so Dimitri, yeah, so in comparison to what's going on in the regular market, like the MES main, MES main is going to be your, let's go back, going to be like your SPY, so you could watch SPY along with it, right? And Q is going to be your Qs. And then we've got, my screen. We've got the Russells, so the IWM, you can watch the M2K. So those are good comparisons between the two. And you can watch them side by side. The charts are similar. Definitely channel trading today, my God. Go back down to the 1 minute here and see what we're working with. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Just watching gold. For those who are going to ask, zoom in a little bit, get a bigger picture so you can actually see it. We're on the 1 minute. We're bouncing on the 9 here. The 9's currently sitting at the 26.3170. 26.3170 is where the 9 is sitting. I'm looking over here on, so we're watching gold, MGC main. Looking at an opportunity to sit down here in the weeds or at support. You could do that just above this wall here at the 26.3140. You could sit up here at 26.3150 and just watch the pullback. And it should pick you up if you wanted to wait. As you can see, had you done that, the wick would have picked you up and you'd be to the upside. See that? 26.3140. You would have got picked up if you had waited in the weeds, and you'd now be going to the upside with your trade. above the 9. So as scalpers, we like to stay above the 9. We're going to the upside. I'd be watching this closely, right? We may be toying back here again where we're going to see this come back down and touch the same spot again. Right here. Watching that wick. It's flipping the 9 again. I'm not liking this. Still watching, still not liking this. Still showing this support level here. If I were in this, I'd be considering my options of getting out. Now we're below the 9 and it's not moving. But I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Watching the L2. L2 is heavy on the bid side. If you guys saw that, you just saw that big old pop of volume come in here, and now we are below that. If you'd have stayed in it, now you'd be in the red. When you're scalping, you must be quick on your feet, getting in and out of these. Yes, I would agree, Vinny. Bouncing off the 21, potentially, or we're hitting the 21, not bouncing, we're hitting the 21. Yes. Still watching. We've got about 7 minutes left of today's live. Watching this closely, we are still on the 1 minute. Looking for questions here. As we are slowly starting to wind down the day for the live, watching closely here. As you can see for gold, bouncing off that 26.30.30. Still watching closely. Watching that L2, guys, I am seeing some, I was seeing some movement and it moved down of a wall down at 26.20, 26.29. It's moving up. 26.29. Great question, Bam Bam. I will typically watch it up until about that 5 p.m. You got to be careful that you don't go over that 5 p.m. I have watched it. It gets volatile just like regular market during that last little while. So I would encourage everybody that's new to stay the hell out of it. So it's pretty, it can be pretty violent depending on what you're looking at. So just be super careful. A lot of times after that, like right after that 5 o'clock, I am clearing my charts if I'm still doing some work, clearing my charts and preparing for that hour later. So I try to do a couple stops in the evening just to do some stuff in here and get my day started. So I spend a lot of my time training versus trading. So I have to get my trading done when I can. All right, looking around for more questions here as we start to wind down our day. Want to take a quick second to remind everybody of all of the sales that we have going on. Currently, we have one in place. If you buy 6-month VIP, you get 6-month gold add-on for free. After that 6-month, they go to regular price. You can go to AmericanDreamTrading.com for those sales. If you want to join us over here in our Discord, we have a free Discord, which is the best place for you to start and where you can browse around and get to know the general area. We have an awesome admin team in place that will help answer any questions you have. And yours truly, when I get an opportunity, will help answer questions as well. If you join our futures group, we have a futures Discord and our channels within our Discord. We've got a futures lounge, videos on demand, and our Zooms. Hop in there and ask any question you want. One of us will answer your question as we can. Otherwise, you can join our VIP if you haven't already. The VIP is a great group. We have lots of trainings. We have openings. Our Zooms open as early as 3 a.m. Rogus it's 4 a.m. Eastern. With our pre-market crew, you'll find me in there sometimes in that early hour trading futures with the group while they're doing hot stocks. And the other ones that we trade, like Teslas and stuff like that, they're open in the morning hours like that. And I'm typically in there at some point trading futures as well. So you can join the VIP and get that. I usually put something out in the chat during those hours. Once you become a part of our premium memberships, we have a live Zoom training within our community 2 hours before we go live. It's a great opportunity for you to join an intimate group of individuals where we can go and talk through any questions you have, whether it's setups, how-tos, whatever. We can help you with that there as well. Before you hop on the live here with us with all the social media crew. Nate does look at futures. He is really just more interested now that I'm aware of just doing shares and taking the occasional option when he sees a good opportunity to. But he's primarily just he actually forgets about the future side that Nate's doing Nate, which is great. So what goes for everybody, do what works best for you. As we're starting to wind down today, guys, I do want to thank all of you for joining us today here with our Futures Education Live. All of you on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, TikTok, and then our Zoom crew. Thank you all for coming in today. I also want to do a quick shout out to our moderators who take their time to come in here each day and help out. I appreciate all of you very much. And lastly, but certainly not least, Coach, for giving me the opportunity to sit in this hot seat and walk through the training and trades for futures. I appreciate all the time he allows me to do that within as well. It's been a great opportunity to do so. I'd like to do a quick shout out for homework assignment. Make sure you're doing your charting of your support and resistant lines for the open market this evening. Take those into the market tomorrow. Make sure you're paper trading before your real trading, guys. And for God's sake, please use your stops. We don't need anybody blowing up their account. That is all for this evening. You all have a great night, and I will see all of you tomorrow.